Welcome students, I am Dr. A.K. Sharma from the Department of Management Studies, IIT Roorkee. My area of interest is finance and accounting, and this time I am offering a course, Management Accounting, right. Management Accounting, we will discuss everything in detail in this course about the different techniques of accounting which are useful for the managerial use, for the managerial decision making in the organizations, in the business organizations, and I would like to clarify the doubts and the differences between the three different types of accounting, that is the financial accounting, cost accounting and management accounting. When we talk about accounting, many people get confused about that. We have financial accounting, we have cost accounting and we have management accounting, right. So, if we have the financial accounting, what is the need of cost accounting? If we have the cost accounting and financial accounting, what is the need of management accounting? So, why these three disciplines of accounting are there or they have emerged over a period of time? What was the use? What was the requirement? What was the understanding behind developing the three different sets of accounting or the courses of accounting or the areas of accounting or disciplines of accounting? So, that is we are going to discuss here and we are going to clarify. Earlier I have offered a course that is financial analysis and reporting. So, that is the earlier that was based upon the financial accounting, and if you have the basic idea of the financial accounting, if you know something about the cost accounting or maybe not the cost accounting, but if you have some basic idea of the financial accounting, if you have studied the financial accounting some time earlier, then I think it would be very easy for you to understand what is the management accounting, and you would be able to clarify and differentiate also that what is the financial accounting and what is the management accounting, and why there is a need for management accounting, what are the issues involved in the management accounting, what are the managerial problems we can solve with the help of management accounting, and how the management accounting has evolved over a period of time, and what are the different techniques of studying the subject called as management accounting, right. So, here we are to discuss for the next 30 hours. This course is 30 hours course and we will have 60 lectures of the half an hour each. So, I would try to cover almost each and every aspect of management accounting and like to make it interesting with the help of some problems, cases, and we will be solving it here, we will be discussing here, we will talk about the conceptual things with regard to different topics in management accounting, how we can use those different techniques and concepts of management accounting in the managerial decision making quantitatively as well as qualitatively, and finally where this subject or area of learning takes us or our organizations or our firms and how it is useful, right. So, when we talk about the different branches of accounting, you must have heard about, you must have this much of the background, I am sure that there are the three branches of accounting: financial accounting, cost accounting and management accounting, right. So, why there is a need for three different branches of accounting, and what is the purpose or what are the different purposes that these three branches of accounting serve? We have first of all financial accounting, then we develop the cost accounting, and then we develop the management accounting. So, it has happened over a period of time in a phased manner. This all has happened in a phased manner depending upon the requirement of the business world, depending upon the need and necessities of the business world as the business went on becoming complex or maybe very difficult to predict or to go for decision making or any other kind of business issues. When complexity of the business increased because of the increased competition, because of the globalization, because of the liberalization of different economies, when the firms started moving from the one economy to another economy, from the home economy to the host economy, and then they had the plethora of issues that there are different challenges, different economies, different markets, different people, different customers have different problems, different issues, how to resolve them, how to fulfill their requirements, and even we have to find out that what are the expectations of the market in the time to come, how the market is going to behave in which the company or companies are operating, how those markets are going to behave, how the customers are going to behave, how the demand with regard to one particular product or service is going to be, how to go for pricing of the products in a competitive economy. Similarly, then how to take decision about the different other aspects like inventory, then like say credit sales, and say serving the different kind of the needs of the customers spread over the diverse markets all around the globe. You must be agreeing with me that for any effective business organization these days, only one economy or the one market is not just sufficient, or is not, say they want to expand from one economy to other economy. Means they are not satisfied with the one market, they are into the one market because that market is not safe for many companies. If they are operating in one market and they feel that they are safe in that market, God knows that tomorrow some big multinational company comes in that area and they have to lose the market. So they have to look forward for the alternative markets, not within the country but outside the country also. So there are different decisions which they have to take over a period of time, and accounting is a discipline which helps managers and different stakeholders of the businesses to take very relevant and useful decisions. Now for example, I am saying that say in India we have companies like, say in the electrical sector you talk about, we have the company very big name Anchor, and Anchor was once upon a time very big name, very effective company, but time came when this market was liberalized, we accepted the globalization, many American and the Japanese companies entered this market, and finally Anchor found it very difficult to survive in the market, and finally the company was taken over by the Panasonic. So it means a big giant, a big company which was a leader in the Indian market once upon a time, today it is an acquired company, it is a sold out company. It means they could not sustain the competition put forward by the multinationals. So it means we will have to take many decisions over a period of time, and here the data which is called as financial and accounting data, that helps us a lot. So accounting, without accounting you can't think of doing any business. Accounting is, if you talk about the financial accounting, it is helping us to reporting or knowing about the results of the business. You must be aware about, or you must be knowing it, that under financial accounting we prepare the financial statements, we prepare the profit and loss account, we prepare the balance sheet, we prepare the cash flow statement, we prepare the funds flow statement. All these statements, what they are? They only have the data, and that data helps us to go for the different management decisions. Now we talk about that if we are say earning the profit, whether profit is sufficient or not, we are into the losses. So what is the extent of loss? Are we expecting to convert that loss into profit? Because ultimately end result of any business is the maximization of the wealth, and we keep on verifying over a period of say 1 year or 12 months that how the business is doing in the past 12 months. So financial accounting helps us. We prepare the financial statements, mean whatever you do, all the business transactions, they are converted into the monetary transactions. Maybe all the transactions are the monetary transactions. Monetary transactions are recorded in the books of accounts, and finally they are taken to the financial statements, profit and loss account and balance sheet and cash flow statement, and with the help of that we come to know over a period of time that how the business has fared, how the business has done, how the business has performed, and if it is say acceptable level of performance, then fine, but if something needs to be done, then ultimately it is accounting which is helping us. So financial accounting, you can't think of doing business without financial accounting, right. Then we have cost accounting. So cost accounting is the branch or the area or the discipline of learning where we learn about how to cost the products and different type of the products and the services. See, ultimately when we are producing a product or generating a service, that is only for the customers and it has to go to the market. Now when it has to go to the market, it has to be sold in the market, and for selling any product or service in the market, you need to have or you need to fix up a price. You must be knowing that if I am the producer of a product, if any company is the producer of the product, if any company is a generator of any service, creator of any service, then what is the cost of creating that service? What is the cost of producing that product? And until and unless you know the real cost of producing that product or generating that service, you can't price your product. So costing is the basis of pricing. Pricing is not possible without costing. So you need the cost accounting, full-fledged discipline called as cost accounting, which is only dealing with all different kind of the issues with regard to the cost. cost of the products, cost of the services, unless you have the cost, because cost is the basis of pricing. So, we need the cost accounting because we are in a competitive world. So, you cannot charge any price of your product, whatever you wish to charge. We are in a competitive economy which is called as the economy controlled by the customers, not by the sellers. Economies today, markets today are controlled by the buyers. It is a buyer's market now all around the world, all around the globe. It is not a seller's market, it is a buyer's market, and buyer has multiple options available, buyer has multiple substitutes available, supply side has improved a lot, and if any company is not able to fulfill the customer's requirement at a desired place, price, and with the say desired properties of the product or service, they will shift to somebody else. They will soon become the former customer to an existing company and they will shift to the other company. It is happening. For example, you have seen in the telecom sector. Once upon a time, if you talk about say 10-15 years back, we had only one company, that is Department of Telecommunication, that was converted to BSNL. But today you see how many companies are there in the market providing you the telecom services. And if you are not satisfied with the service of any company, say Airtel, you shift to Vodafone. If you are not satisfied with the Vodafone, you shift to Jio. If you are not satisfied with Jio, even sometimes people shift to BSNL. So, depending upon the service, depending upon the say the way the service is being provided, and foremost thing is the price at which the service is available or the product is available, that is the one important, you can call it as basis of the success or failure of the products or services. What is the reason? What is the say you can say that is the say reason of the success of Jio in such a short span of time? Jio forced two large companies, this Vodafone and Idea, to join hands to form a joint venture, because for them sustaining the competition put forward by Jio in the market was not possible. Vodafone, a UK based company, a large multinational company which has millions of customers all around the globe, they could not sustain this competition put forward by Indian company, a new Indian company entering the telecom sector, because their services and their quality of the service was much cheaper as compared to the services of the existing companies, whether you call it as BSNL, you call it as Airtel, you call it as Vodafone, you call it as Idea. Whatever the price and the speed Jio has given to the market, existing company could not do that. So, it means how the Jio could say serve the market, and even serving today at a price which others cannot compete with, because they know how to cost their service. So, it means if you want to sell the product in the market in such a competitive market, you have to price the product in such a way that it is highly competitive, it is full of all the properties and attributes, still it is highly competitive, and people have the reason to accept the product. And it is not happening in one sector, everywhere there is a huge competition. You talk about manufacturing sector, you talk about electronics, you talk about automobiles, you talk about domestic, that is the consumer products. So, consumer products, consumer durables, automobiles, mean the industrial products, everywhere there is a competition. So, to fight the competition and to sustain in this competitive situation, we will have to learn how to cost the products, and not only to cost the products, but to minimize the cost of the product without compromising at the quality. And if you have the basis of costing your products, that ultimately becomes the basis of pricing the products. So, you need cost accounting, a full fledged branch of learning that what the cost accounting is. And then we talk about the management accounting. Management accounting is not at all a discipline in itself, it has no techniques of its own. Like financial accounting, it has proper GAAP, generally agreed accounting principles, then it has its own ways and means to develop a full fledged subject on the basis of the different techniques of financial accounting. Under financial accounting, we have the business transactions, we take those transactions to the journal, ledger, trial balance, and then we take them to the financial statement, then we prepare the cash flow statement, then we prepare the fund flow statement. So, they all are created, all this information is created under the techniques of financial accounting. It is a full-fledged discipline, it is the original discipline, and it has its own base and its own techniques and methods. Similarly, if you talk about the cost accounting is also itself a very say you can call it as full-fledged, fully developed subject. It has its own techniques. It has different techniques for costing the products in the different sectors. It has the techniques for costing the products in the manufacturing sector. It has the techniques for costing the products in the consumer sector, in the consumer durable sector, in the automobile sector, even in the construction industries we have the different costing techniques. So, it has different techniques, different methods and methodologies. So, it is a full-fledged original real discipline of learning. What is management accounting? Like cost accounting and financial accounting, management accounting does not have its own techniques, methods and its own systems. It borrows the techniques of financial accounting and the cost accounting. Partly it borrows the techniques and partly it borrows the data, the information which is provided by the financial accounting and which is provided by the cost accounting. It is fully dependent upon the first two branches of accounting. If there is no financial accounting data, if there is no cost accounting data, you can't use management accounting as a discipline of decision making. So, entire decision making under management accounting is based upon financial accounting plus cost accounting. Management accounting has different techniques of decision making, not of generating any data or information. Data or information is generated under the financial accounting and cost accounting, but how to make use of that data for the relevant management decision making, that is how it can be learned under the techniques of management accounting. It helps in the decision making, not in the generation of any data, any information or any different kind of the quantitative inflow. It only is using the information which is available in the balance sheet and profit and loss account, in the cost statements, and with the help of different methods of financial accounting and cost accounting, whatever the information is generated, that is being used effectively in the management accounting. So, here we will learn about that how to make proper use of the financial accounting information, how to make proper use of the cost accounting information, and how and in what way this information can be used in the day-to-day management decision making, because business is complex. It is not only to cost the product, we have to further learn about how to minimize the cost, we have to further learn about how to price the product. So, minimizing the cost, pricing the product and using the different type of the costing information about different products and services that we learn in the management accounting. But without cost accounting, management accounting is not possible. Similarly, what information is provided to us by the profit and loss account, balance sheet and the other statements. Financial accounting only provides the historical information, that is the profit and loss account and balance sheet, nothing else. It does not give you anything else, and management accounting starts where the financial accounting ends. Management accounting starts where the cost accounting ends. So, we have to learn here that generation of the information is not sufficient in today's world. It was earlier, but in today's world it is just not possible. Whatever the information is generated under the two sets of accounting, two major branches of accounting, making the proper and rational and effective utilization of that information, so that very effective management decision making can be facilitated, that we will be learning under the management accounting. Now, what is the need and how this discipline has evolved? Just in 2 minutes I will discuss with you that initially when we started doing business centuries ago, you must have heard about that we have two accounting systems, that is single entry accounting system and the double entry accounting system. Under the single entry accounting system, it was very simple accounting system, that on the one side of statements you are putting all the sources from where the funds are coming in and where the funds are going out, and we are calculating the difference. So, we are making only a one entry of, if anything is coming in the business, only one entry. If anything is going out of the business, only one entry in the books of accounts. But that was suffering from a major limitation, that when any transaction happens in the business, it does not have only one or single effect, it has double effect. If material is coming in the business, cash is going out in lieu of that material, because that material is not free, we have purchased that. So, why not to have the double effect of every transaction? So, after the single entry system, we had the double entry system of accounting, and today's financial accounting is based upon the double entry accounting system, which was developed by the Fra Luca Pacioli. He was an Italian merchant, and he developed it in the 17th century. He wrote a book on the double entry accounting system, and after that this system was understood by all around the world, everybody all around the world, and it was accepted as a full-fledged discipline of accounting. I do not want to go in detail about the financial accounting, because you know it about. So, here the purpose is just to recall that today whatever the financial accounting information we generate through profit and loss account and balance sheet, that is based upon the double entry accounting system. And when you enter the transactions into the journal, ledger, trial balance, prepare the profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, fund flow statement, financial accounting ends there. Maximum is you can analyze that information by calculating certain ratios or by preparing the cash flow statement and fund flow statement, but more than that you can't make better use of the financial accounting. Another limitation of the financial accounting is that it is historical in nature. When you prepare the profit and loss account, maybe at the end of year, at the end of 3 months, at the end of 6 months, you come to know about the results of the business when the action has already been taken or the results have already come. You can't change those results. If the business has earned a profit and that is not up to the mark, you can't increase the profit for the previous period. Yes, you can take actions to improve the things in future. If business has incurred a loss and you come to know after 12 months or 3 or 6 months, you can't convert that loss into profit. Yes, you can take appropriate or the corrective measures for the next remaining period of a time of the year. So, another limitation of the financial accounting is it generates very useful information, but that entire information is historical in nature. So, initially when the business was not very competitive, maybe in the 17th century, 18th century, and till the beginning of 19th century or even during the 19th century, financial accounting served the purpose. We never thought of having any other, say any other, you can call it as additional branch of accounting. But over a period of time, we started seeing and experiencing the complexities of the businesses, because businesses started becoming global over a period of time. Companies started moving from the one market to another market, one economy to the another economy. We had the concept of the multinational, international companies, multinational companies, world companies, transnational companies. So, it intensified the competition. In India, for example, till 1991, since we were not a globalized economy, so only Indian companies were operating in this market, whether they were into the government sector, public sector, private sector, but this market was only open for the Indian companies. Very few foreign companies were operating in the market, but in a very restricted manner. But when we opened up this economy for the world conglomerates, we accepted the globalization, liberalization, and this economy was made wide open for any multinational company coming to India. So, it intensified the competition. When it intensified the competition, so it means any product or service which was available to us at any price before opening up of the economy, and that service or product was being provided to us by the Indian companies, the price they were charging before the globalization, before 1991, they were not able to charge the same price after 1991, because some efficient and the better player came up in the market. and that player started providing the very efficient useful product at a very lesser and effective price. So, why people should keep on buying the product from the existing company if it is not able to serve the needs of the people, and when efficient product is available at half of the price or more efficient product is available at the same price. So, people started shifting from the domestic or Indian companies products and services to the multinational companies. Today you see in every sector there are the multinational companies operating in India. You have automobiles, you have electronics, you have consumer durables, you have other consumer durables I meant to say, then you have the consumer sector. Everywhere you are finding the products from the multinational companies, and Indian companies are going out of the market. Why? Because they were not able to serve the customers' needs. The price they charged, the quality of the product they provided, they were not able to serve the needs of the customers, and when the multinationals came in and then the customer saw the multinationals product, then certainly there was a reason for the customer to shift to the new company multinationals product. So, it means what happened? Here we realized that the costing system of the Indian companies was defective. Similarly, this defective costing system or challenges in the accounting and the costing system were not only faced within at the one economy level, but even the globally. You must have heard about the global recession of 1930s. What is that global recession of 1930s? What was the impact of that global recession of 1930s, and how it necessitated the say development of the another discipline of accounting, which was later on named as cost accounting, that I will discuss with you. So, it means initially we had financial accounting, business was not very competitive, and it was easy to do the business all around the say market wherever the company is operating. So, financial accounting served the need. But when business became competitive and sometime because of the world recession, purchasing power of the people was affected, then it was thought by the businesses all around the globe that a new discipline should be developed, which helps us to guide how to calculate the cost and minimize the cost, and that resulted into the development of the second branch of accounting, cost accounting. More about the cost accounting and its development and further movement from the financial accounting to cost accounting and management accounting, I will discuss with you in the next class. Thank you very much.